wrestling fans? I am B-Train from Those Missouri Guys, and today I'm here to discuss with you my input, my basically wide opinion of how to fix World Wrestling Entertainment. Then again, that would take forever, so I'm just going to try and minimize this discussion to about 45 hours. That would be really bad and really boring, and I think YouTube would probably ban me. But anyways, I decided to, read maybe one or two things off of this source that I found interesting. That Vince McMahon was mentioning stuff of his improvements of World Wrestling Entertainment. And basically, that got me into thinking, why in the world would the chairman of the board start listing off improvements when there's room for a lot of improvements? And I gotta tell you, this was kind of eye-opening to what he said. And basically, one statement that Vince said in a press conference, one viewer asked him what he was going to include in his programming in the near future. He said, I know a lot of fans want different things. Some fans want hardcore, but we don't want to give too much away because of the negotiations. I tell you, I miss the days when Linda McMahon was still there. I miss the days when Shane was still there. Because the company, even though despite it losing viewers, when it hit PG in 2008, I still say that when it was run by certain people, the company ran a lot smoother. And what do I mean by that? Production-wise. Where does the WWE stand production-wise? They have a great amount of people who watch it at home. That can vary from week to week. It's been better, according to this source. One statement says that it's been one of the highest quarterly ratings that it's been. I think you can attribute that to the stuff you see on Ion Television, Main Event, and Saturday Night Slam. Not really. I mean, if you take production value, and where does that stand? Where does that fit in with WWE? Well, they could, vary it. It could be, I can't really think of anything, and that's bad. Oh yes, okay. Production value, how much time is spent on a storyline or angle from WWE? Where is this storyline and angle going? Where is the continuity in the storyline? I mean, I ran out of stuff in my head, so I'm just going off playing this by ear. So, what other things can be used to improve World Wrestling Entertainment? Yeah, there's a lot of discussion about this. There's been discussion about this for the last 4 years. When you keep reusing certain ideas, but tweaking it a bit with storylines and adding different characters to the mix, like the whole Vickie Guerrero and John Cena and AJ angle, the whole scandal idea. I think, to me, that this is really... how do I put this? It's really ironic that this idea that an affair can be a successful storyline, because, let's face it, you have Ryback and Punk. I don't know what else to say, but this is going to run out and it's going to get boring real quick. I don't have time to be, inserting video clips because to add humor, but I figure if I can just add one more for you guys just to make my point, we're going to show you what John Cena thought of the feedback that he'd been getting from fans. When he said this in the UK, I'm telling you, you'll just have to see.
Running a clean show is like me learning another wrestling move. It's not going to happen. I got 5. Is it 4 or is it 5?
You see, what comes to mind when I think, finally he admitted that he wouldn't learn a wrestling move. There's always a series of chants that come straight through my head, and let's see. That being said, the "you can't wrestle" chants, what boggles my mind is he put a smile on his face, as if to say, oh yeah, I'm not going to learn another wrestling move. Great. So when somebody gets injured and John's supposed to step up to the plate, you bring to the dance what got you there. And basically, John brought nothing ever since 2002. Everybody says, well, he used to have ruthless aggression and all this. The focus isn't on John Cena. Okay, let's be real. If you want an extended version of how World Wrestling Entertainment can be recovered and be helped, then here's a thought. Instead of making 12 steps or 20 steps or hell even 30 steps, why not just minimize that and start with the basics? Guys need to learn how to take falls instead of botching in the match. What do I mean by this? Even if it was just a filler match with Heath Slater and, Santino Marella. The point is, these guys know how to wrestle. They know how to wrestle. They're just being handcuffed because of the label of PG or whatever. Does this have anything to do with the demise in product? Probably not. But it does have a part to do with, people tuning in and watching it and seeing guys just stand on the mic for 20, 30 minutes and talking all the damn time. Whether it be a main wrestler, pre-show wrestler, or someone else. There's a reason why Vince McMahon keeps showing up every single week now. Because if he didn't, then the show would have been really, really in bad shape. It already is, but it would have been worse, in my opinion. How to help this program? Let's think about this one, shall we? You cannot tell me, and I'm pausing a lot, you cannot tell me that this company has improved just over from a quarterly perspective and saying, oh yes, our app is doing well, our video game sales are doing well. I think the only thing keeping you afloat, Vince, t-shirt sales, pay-per-views, the South, the East Coast, parts of the Midwest, and your overseas tours helping you make that money and creating revenue. Again, I'm getting off the beaten track, but if you want to help this company, let's start at the top. You have CM Punk, who is the WWE champion, who thus far, has been doing a masterful job at being a heel. The whole Brad Maddox, or however you pronounce his last name, that was a good angle. Although it was a little rushed, it still brought in, what's going to be the follow-up? How are we going to do this at Survivor Series kind of thing? Really? If you guys haven't caught on, WCW did something very similar to this, I'd say 13 years ago, but that could just be my personal opinion. I could be off with my wrestling comparisons. But Bill Goldberg and Hogan had this kind of rivalry. The only difference was Goldberg could actually hit the spear and not botch certain things. When you have a guy that you're making him just say 3 words, yeah, his future spells out TNA, TNA instead of feed me more, feed me more. You know what? They're not giving any of the writers leeway to work with Ryback to, explain from his vantage point what he feels. The sad part is when wrestlers or female divas are about to leave World Wrestling Entertainment, they don't get to express themselves until it's too late, until their contract expires, or until, you know, certain things hit the fan. But the point being, if you want to fix World Wrestling Entertainment, there's way too many, you know, variations of opinion on what to be done. The first is, you need to bring back familiar faces. I hate to be stealing from that 28-minute, 12-second video, but Linda McMahon, who when she was in World Wrestling Entertainment / World Wrestling Federation, was a very, very helpful presence to Vince. Do you realize now that in parts of the country that used to sell out are only getting 4,500, you know, 6,700 or 5,300. These are the average attendances throughout certain places for World Wrestling Entertainment. Do I think that they could, you know, possibly have a sellout arena in the near future? Probably. But again, the second thing on the list would be to come up with better quality of product. Me presenting the video games and t-shirts, that's fine. When they're in the ring, they need to come up with a, you know, kind of moment that surprises fans and makes people go, man, this guy's good, or man, I want to see these guys. There may be only 10 superstars that can do that now in WWE, when before they had probably, you know, around 11 or 12 guys carrying the so-called metaphorical torch, if you will. Aside from that rambling, World Wrestling Entertainment can improve by, you know, less botches in the ring. What do I mean by botches? When a guy calls the match, when he's in the ring with with the other guy, there needs to be less mistakes. You're not going to have a mistake-free night, but if it was mistake-free, you'd have people watching. Clean matches, not a big fan of. Even, you know, if they were to have a hardcore match every once in a while, not every single week, but maybe every once in a while, because it's been so long since we've seen steel chairs, and discounting the whole Daniel Bryan and Kane blow up where they started beating people with chairs, WWE has kind of steered away from that. And yeah, they have the pay-per-view Extreme Rules, but it's so damn choreographed. I mean, I get that it has to be, but there needs to be some spark. There needs to be that extra push for people to come back and start watching wrestling. When they start involving celebrities, that could be another way of helping the company out. You know, not overdoing it, but adding, instead of just having ambassadors on the show, why not actually have them show up and be involved in the show and the storyline? Last but not least, Monday Night Raw, again, I tuned into parts of it, and then I just shut it out. Why? Because it's the same thing. Punk bitches about Vince screwing him over. Ziggler gets involved in Vickie's scheme to have an exposure to the scandal of John Cena and AJ Lee. Or, you know, Sheamus always fights The Miz for the umpteenth time. I'm telling you, there's got to be a solution to this problem. Survivor Series is now featuring Team Ziggler because they wanted to see how fans would react to this. So far, from what I'm seeing, it's not all Vince's fault. I know it's not. But there are gambles that he's taken. Some of them have paid off and some of them have not paid off. All I'm going to say is, World Wrestling Entertainment, pay attention to what some of us are saying. Take heed to the warnings that have been given to you, because if you don't, you're going to lose a lot of people like you already have throughout the past, I don't know, 10 years, when the ratings have gone way down from what they used to be. Not just the ratings, but the quality of product. And yeah, I'm going to keep bringing that up. I am, you know, really, really spent, so guys, I hope you got something from this video. If not, well, again, who gives a damn? I'm going to speak my mind and say what's on my mind, and if you don't like it, who gives a damn? I am B-Train from those Missouri guys, and